Ah, I'm alive. Here we are. So we've got the local support client meeting this afternoon. I'm just doing the setup for that. I've got some of the boring. Here we are. Second time lucky. So I've got the local support client meeting this afternoon. Gonna get ready for that. There's some various review of bits and pieces as part of that. I've already done kind of, I think, the most tedious bits of the setup that I usually do at this time, which are to get, here we go, that was the previous meeting, this is the current meeting that we're preparing for. Leave that page. Yeah, so yeah, sorted out the agenda for the meeting, and now I'm just working my way through the different elements to try and make sure we're all ready to show the client the bits and pieces that we need to. So what I've just done here is I've pulled out pulled out all the latest code. I just had a mind to run the tests locally on my machine. Actually doing that, I should just do that with like this, and check that everything's running locally. Oh, hey there, Michael. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Just doing the local support client meeting setup.
Cool.
You up early?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Oh well, good to see you. Yeah, so I was just gonna in the background there get whatever the latest stuff we've got and developed onto staging, and then possibly even out into production, depending on how it goes. We've got a few.
Oh, you mentioned me on.
Say again.
I said I saw you mention me on GitHub.
Yeah. Well, that's the separate thing. This is not particularly client facing, but yeah, I've got the pull request. There's yeah, so I kind of had second thoughts about the whole repository model. Go on.
The reason that the in-memory edit is different.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean that the non-published fields method exists.
Right.
Is basically because the site admin is kind of different in that he can edit non-published fields.
Right.
So those fields are going to come back from the forum.
Mm.
So if we don't merge those in for non-site admins,
right,
they won't exist like in the CRUD model for the client to see.
Right. Right, and the requirement is that the client can see them.
Well, that's what I'm assuming right now.
Yeah, no, I think that makes
wrong. Maybe that doesn't actually.
Well, it's sort of. I mean, yes, it's interesting. I mean, I guess the other thing that I was looking at this and feeling slightly unclear about was that we've got this process of, if the editor is not a site admin, then it makes sense that, the incoming, if there's an incoming request to change things, that they didn't have access to do those. And then we kind of, we send the email and we set the notice. But basically, yeah, either way round, we end up with a proposed organization edit that has all the fields, and we end up with, even if the form which was displayed to the non-admin didn't have those elements in it, they're added in at this point.
Right.
Right. So given that we have a proposed edit, like so, now the interesting thing is, though, it sort of feels like, so this is the info@agileventures.org. I guess the so some of these might be non-public elements. So it's in this context that we like the proposed organization edit that we've got, that we've created as a result of this process, that gets displayed here, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, and so what I'm I think if the site admin is a edit, if the user is a site admin, have we does the proposed edit still end up in this place? It still requires approval,
Yes.
right? Right. Interesting. Interesting.
That actually is a little hard to see what the difference is there.
Um,
For more details.
oh, on this one here. Yeah, I think that's partly because I made a very minor change there to that one. Right, right. And I guess yeah, so what it occurs to me is that in some ways the missing pieces of information from the proposed edit could be that it's kind of like with this, we're kind of preparing in advance and we're saying, okay, at the point at which we want to display the proposed edit, we're going to need to show these other things.
Whereas we could pull them out of the existing model.
Yeah, because we've got a reference to the model, we could kind of be catching that like at the display level, and then that would remove the necessity for all of that additional stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. What's interesting about this is that that insight kind of came from the process of trying to test this. I was just, I wasn't particularly thinking like, oh, we don't need this, but in the process of writing the test for this, I was playing with the latest version I was playing around with. I've closed it all. Where's the test gone? It was in, this is services, and this is create. No, it's not that one. Oh, I'm checked out on develop now, so I haven't got it. Rats. Git checkout. Oh, yes, that one. Yeah, like in the process of testing that bit, I basically thought, God, that's kind of, I mean, I end up stubbing the instance, under test, which is generally a bad sign. But I basically just say, okay, let's assume this happens. But it's interesting how the difficulty of testing served as a kind of flag towards, maybe do we even really need it? I don't know. That's not necessarily a particularly deep insight, but I'm kind of having fun at the moment exploring the testing of this service. Since you're here, do you have? I guess I mean, does the thing I'm saying here about preferring to use this term create proposed organization edits rather than a proposed organization edit repository, does that make any sense to you? Is it just does it maybe doesn't matter one way or the other, or
What's the rationale for that?
you've suddenly gone a little bit quiet. The rationale for that is that is that the repository concept as
you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yes, it's much louder now.
I'm just on the iPad, and like for some reason the audio often goes in and out on it.
Yeah, no worries. The reason is, I did that previous pull request, which I wonder if I can find. We have a repository in it. We don't. Let me turn back alternative peer services. Yeah, and I think if we look at the repository pattern, as I've looked at the repository pattern in more detail, the idea is that it's supposed to be like a very, very thin interface on the database. It's sort of actually Active Record kind of already has a repository pattern kind of in there already.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of, although I still want to, I'm still concerned about. Let's go to the code over here in the controller. the ability to sort of work out what's going on under the hood. No, this is in proposal. It's like so. Is rather than having a repository here and saying create on it, is having a service that is the service specifically for creating a proposed organization edit. And then, so for example, when we do the update, we would have a separate service that would be an update proposed organization edits that would do the things associated with the update. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So,
And so you could say that kind of makes things a little bit opaque in terms of, oh, well, you've just, okay, we know from here that this is a create operation and it's going to, we've got a service object for that. That doesn't tell us that underneath the hood, it's going to send an email to the super admin and so on and so forth. But to a certain extent, like I start to feel like, that is the stuff that should be capsulated. This is the business logic lives in the services, and you look at the services to find out what the business logic is, and the controller is just linking up to say, a create request has come in. I'm going to pass that create request off to the appropriate service. And then what's the other thing? Create service.
Whereas active record should just be dealing with the database, right?
Right. And go on.
Like active records, like the repository level, and it
just
deals with the
database. That's right. And then so in terms of the there being a repository, that kind of comes down to the way in which we interact with the active record model.
But you're basically proposing to create services that are like different CRUD operations.
Exactly.
Because I remember like a month or two ago, you were like, we need to use the repository for CRUD.
Well, that's right, and that was my thoughts. Is I mean the independently of whether we use the repository or not, the key thing that I'm hoping to get is that there's a clear, you can see the CRUD operations in terms of the services, and the services are kind of organized in terms of CRUD. And I was thinking the repository was the way to do that, but that's actually kind of more heavyweight than we need, and it's more heavyweight than I think the repository pattern usually supports. But so the key thing in some ways is what's happening here is this logic, which, and it was very initially I've been thinking, oh, we should be putting this in a before save hook or what have you. This actually basically takes that kind of logic. It's sort of an alternative to using the active record lifecycle, which people generally seem to think is a bad idea to use, and it's using services to provide a consistent way to say, for the life cycle,
when you do that, then do these things, and when there's an error or whatever, do this.
Exactly. And that seems to be kind of a bit more stable. And then there's the ongoing question of, what's the naming scheme and so on. And a colleague of mine, wrote this whole musings on service objects, and I'm sort of ending up following his thing of having like verb noun or process thing and then with. And now I'm just sort of going backwards and forwards on whether the change I just made last night, which I haven't put into the pull requests. So in the pull request, I've still got it like, so it's the service object here. It has class instance variables, and we just have a operation on it, and it just does it. There's no instance is ever created, and particularly as that made this method get longer, it made me want to experiment. So that the latest version that I've got of it on my local computer is this one here, where so that then it creates an instance of the class and passes this through. And interestingly, for the purpose of testing it, I've ended up doing extracting all of the dependencies, so I'm with appropriate defaults, and that means that the test of the service doesn't touch any of the Rails infrastructure and
fast and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's now I've got a technique that I've been using where I can reduce this to approximately one line, and then I think, I don't know. It'd be an interesting question about whether this just all ends up feeling terribly complex to new people coming into it. yeah. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, but really, in principle, I guess a service object really isn't that hard to understand. You
no,
know, it's just a plain old Ruby object that
indeed.
follows certain conventions.
Mm, mm. Yes, you are correct. And that's a good point.
But
And I think
it
oh, go
is
on.
a
Go on.
different. It's a level of abstraction above what's taught in the MOOC.
Yeah. Well, and
That's the problem.
it's well, and what it is that yeah, it's another level of abstraction. So you've got when we do things like index method, and it does one thing, and all the logic is in there. It's sort of simpler. Yeah,
But
as
to be honest, though, we are. I mean, local support is doing things that are somewhat more complex than what is taught in the MOOC. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I think there's I think partly I'm my comfort level with service objects is increasing. I mean, I think that there's and there's levels above where you have constellations of service objects doing you know
yeah,
things which gets what's more, but that's partly what I'm kind of hoping to address with this idea of having what we might say CRUD or even RESTful service objects. No, that's probably CRUD service objects is maybe better. Is that we can that's a mechanism for organizing the numbers of service objects as they increase. Because while I think it's all right to have things like these user organization claimers and so on, I think when we have this process here of like we're doing an update
right.
and then we're switching to a different kind of service object based on what's happening there, that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I would like to have this, I mean, and also there's this thing about user reports. What we should have here is we should have a clear link up saying, okay, we're now going to do a user report update, and then we've extracted the logic from here, and we've made sort of a consistent pattern that one can then hopefully follow to navigate around the different available service objects.
Okay. Huh.
And so, I mean, it's premature to say that. I mean, we'll see whether that's what I'm particularly reflecting upon, though, as I read chapters 8 and 9 of the domain-driven design, is this concept of the, I mean, what I'm playing with here
Yeah,
are not,
breakthrough on the domain. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, these are not so much things from the client domain as more in terms of our own developer model of how Rails is working. But I'm kind of inspired. While the beginning of the book is very dry, I'm now getting into portions where I'm feeling much more inspired, and I'm also now going to have a lot more time. I'm moving, to like 100% on Agile Ventures, so I'm really keen to push forward with local support and see if we can't. It feels like it might be quite a long way away, but potentially with the fact that there's kind of a sweet spot that we might get to ultimately where we have the sufficient number of services and they're organized according to a scheme or whatever, where we start being able to deliver features to the client much more quickly, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
So are you still? I mean, you're still working for makers.
That's gradually winding down, and I'm doing a
Okay.
bit more work for the MOOC and stuff for Armando. And but yeah, I've kind of much as I'm excited about boot camps, it's a very intense experience, and I kind of I think my heart's in the third sector and the socially responsible enterprises and so on, and I'm kind of basically going to ramp this up. I've also got some ideas for a business model for Agile Ventures. I'm going to try and have a sort of a group meeting on Friday to chat more about that. But I'd like to kind of try and turn Agile Ventures into something that generates a little bit of revenue to cover the costs of the servers and so on, and maybe some people's time.
So are you gonna return to Hawaii? And I mean,
I'm planning not to. I'm
Oh.
planning not to. I'm going to be. My plan is to stay here for the time being. I've got a nice, stable internet connection, a stable house, and everything set up here.
No,
So,
I mean, but remotely.
Oh well, I think that's going to be ultimately up to Hawaii. That we will see. We will see. I'm still on leave of absence until September.
But there's like a chance where they may not want you, or
Well, I think they would like me to move permanently back to Hawaii, and I'm much as that's sounds great. I'm kind of committed to being in London for the time being. So if they kind of work out, okay, yeah, we'd like you to have you working remotely, then that'll be an option. But I mean, in some ways, I would what I would hope is that over the next 6 to 9 months, we can turn Agile Ventures into something that's actually, not only sustaining itself but also employing people. We shall see. But anyway, with the original hangout was for the local support client meeting setup.
Yeah, so.
Great, but no problem. I mean, great to be able to. I'm really pleased to have been able to discuss this pull request with you there. Of course, what I should have done in the background was just continue the. We've got Cucumber. Just run that format progress. But yeah, so I was just going to review that's the main site. To review the develop site in order to.
Does anything really happen with the project, or
with local support?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of development.
Yeah. Well, we've had increasing numbers of makers students actually come through and knock off quite a few little things. So, for example, I mean, we've got some little features on the front end. So now, when you navigate through, the search bar stays in place. That was a nice little change.
Oh.
We've also got now in the here we've now got this. Oh, no, that's interesting. I didn't.
I read the email.
So the email, you get kind of like an email preview here. I didn't think I had already deployed that change, but it seems that I have. That's or that somehow it's got in there. That's interesting. Going back to here, because so we've also got so the do it. We've got Jana and Zivko have been working on the volunteer thing and showing all the do it opportunities. And so we've got kind of a spike of that to show to the client today. There's a kind of a trivial thing of me checking that bug has been fixed. Yeah, so that was the email preview to invited users. That's looks like I have already delivered. I wonder if I approve pull requests that were pushing this onto master. Kind of surprised about that, but that looks like, yeah, but so it's in both. But that's on the invite users, and then we've got invite users to become. This is that one. Oops. Invited users. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Well, that's all. That's actually out in both places. So that will be there to be sure. And there was some other. Was there some other minor? I mean, there's a Zivko went through and adjusted the terminology on some of these things, and yeah, we've had some people are working on some minor refactoring bits and pieces. Just added some new tests to increase the test coverage in some places. Some old an old chore from that David Corking had opened like a couple of years ago, and so we're kind of it's interesting. What was I going to do here? And I was going to my brain is gone. I was talking about that David Corking, but nope. Not sure. And we've got this. Well, this other thing is about sandboxing the thing properly. And so Zmago and Marcelo managed to get Puffing Billy and VCR to all work properly on a separate repo on a spike that was the do it thing. So that was very pleasing. But then I don't know that they've necessarily started in moving that onto the main system. I'd really like to get everything kind of cleared up. So let's have a look here at this one. So if I log in, I mean, another thing with local support is they're kind of like there's talk of the local council using this as the kind of platform for volunteering for for that is on there, but then the names of these, no, then they are the same. Okay.
For Harrow.
Yeah, the Harrow are using this, and so there's some. I mean, again, this is one of these things with these, but it's a big. It's more than just Rachel. It's like a consortium of other people and the council involved. So potentially, there's going to be funding for doing more of local support. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, in some ways, yeah, I'm kind of what Alex was saying before Christmas is saying, be ready, be ready. So I'd like to kind of like clear the decks. Of course, people talk about money and contracts or whatever, but
Right.
you never know if it's going to come through. But Armando is keen to get more work done on the autograders, and much as I think structurally that whole project, but yeah, he's got some money for that. Yeah.
He got TAs to do some work this summer, right?
Say again.
His TAs did a lot of work this
They
summer.
did. They did actually. They did, and some parts of it they've definitely improved. They've extracted part of the dependency on edX into a separate gem, and so on. There's there's definitely been some improvements. It's still got a ways to go. Johnny, that's all green for me. So if I just other things to do are to check out staging, git merge up, git push origin. Yes, it's very minor from test there. See, that's user reports invited. Yeah, there was something weird with them. Anyway, it looks like most of those things are out there. A few minor things to show the client. Boom, 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 boom. I hate that sound that hangs around. I have a little mouse over it. Go away. Go away. Okay. So looking through these things, the key thing that I've got to do is that I can get if I just can I check out. So we'll see the staging deploy go out. I want to check out. It's has Yana got a do it experiment she has, and run that locally. No, it's like so. How are things going with you at the moment? Are you're still doing your masters?
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, how's you? Do you have? I mean, I've starting to have. I've got time to do pairing again. Are you like very busy with your courses at the moment, or you might have a chance to do some
I
pairing?
might sometime, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I mean, partially I was doing some MOOCs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm still kind of doing, but
Hmm.
I kind of gotten a little bored with Ruby.
Sure. Yeah. What other languages were you playing with?
R and Python.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, Python's a lot like Ruby too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not so dissimilar. Yeah. I think it would be if you're interested. It would be nice to pair on some refactoring where we try to take this, service object model a bit further. Would be interesting to do. Am I thinking? We could even, start hacking on something after I've done this setup now. But maybe I don't know if you're free, and I probably should also look at this new. I think something's not working quite right with it. Autograder. But what's your schedule looking like today?
I'm free most of the morning, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if I finish, I mean, I should spend 10 minutes just making sure that I've got all the stuff ready to show that the client meeting is going to be at 2:30 p.m. UTC, which is 3.5 hours from now. So I should probably spend another 10 minutes just checking that I've got everything ready to show her. But if you wanted in about 15 or 20 minutes, we could maybe do like a refactoring thing.
All right. Yeah.
Cool. So let's see if I've got Rails server here. Oh, that's the other thing I need to look into is icons. But
My brain's still not completely working because it's 6 a.m.
Sure, sure. Well, if you want to go and have a shower and a cup of coffee and whatever, and come back, you know, that's I mean,
Yeah.
conceivably we could pair after the client meeting. I could focus on the order grader, my AM, and then we could look at the local support after that, or whatever fits into your schedule. And there'll be other, basically I'm going to be, say focused on this. So there's going to be, some opportunities. And let's have a look. So this is the volunteer setup here. Yeah. So this is now the volunteer. All right. So we've got now a combination here. These blue ones are the do it ones, and then we've got our normal ones. So
update my MacBook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To whatever this, what is it, Capitan or whatever?
El Capitan. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna buy a new MacBook, I think, because that's my preferred mechanism for doing updates.
What are you running right now?
I'm on the one Yosemite, the one before. I generally stay kind of one behind.
Right.
If I can possibly avoid it, or possibly support that. Yeah. Okay.
I think
So
Capitan's not supposed to make your computer that slow or whatever, but
I'm, it's always just I'm kind of lazy of just I don't want to deal with it till later, and I'm not usually that interested in the new features.
right.
So just going through here, so I've got so basically I've got a local running version of this to show the client. So of the first issue, that's good. So we've got
Well, I
this.
just haven't updated because I'm kind of afraid that, like, I don't know, like Apple lately, I guess, has gotten kind of like shitty. Like a lot of people have had things break when they upgrade.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's
Like
always,
you upgrade and then all of a sudden, like wireless doesn't work and stuff.
yeah. I think that's always been a risk, and maybe it's bigger than usual. That's my main motivation for not, for
Right.
staying behind the curve, is because partly other people. I mean, it's a bit cowardly of me. I would say, right, personally, I want to focus on getting my project done and my coding done. So
Right. Rather
like
than grappling there.
10,000 other people can encounter that issue. Apple can sort it out, they can work it out, and then I will be 3 months behind the curve, and I will happily just use the slightly more stable thing before it comes out. That's
Right.
when it's available. So we've got this one thing here which is like deleting user and then re-inviting causes an error. And this, so Alexander, who's a Russian guy in the Far East, and he did a fix for this. And I'm just I was trying to I think it's working. It's just sort of testing that it works on. I guess the way I should do this is I should delete the way I should be able to test this is if I see all users, what I should do is I should delete is it info at Agile Ventures? Yeah, I should delete this account. Let's do that. Right, and we don't undo for that. And then, in principle, what I should be able to do is invite users, and we should see the info. That's the interesting thing, is that we've deleted the info at, we've deleted that user, but right, there's Agile Ventures. Okay. So it still has 2 other administrator emails associated with it. Interesting. Sam at AgileVentures.org and Sam at makersacademy.com. Oh, that's why that didn't work last time. Okay. So if I go here, makers.
So if you delete all the registered users that are admins or whatever, what happens?
Then I should, in principle, it should reappear in that list.
Oh. You mean on the invite list or whatever?
Yeah. So what the key thing here to be checking is that there we go. That having deleted those users, or in particular having deleted this user, that then inviting it does not cause an error. It doesn't cause everything to blow up, and that's worked fine. And so in principle, I should also be able to log out. And well, I guess it's going to have sent me an email. So I should go and check my email for that. But yes, so I think anyway that's the excuse me, that's the point where it was blowing up, and so that bug fixes in. So that looks like that's reasonable. So we've still got this issue of yeah. Let's move this. I mean, these accept reject ones should be at the top, so we just get through those first, and then where does that actually hit Slack? Does it? Oh, the other thing I'm going to do is or plan to do is register Agile Ventures as an official charity, and then we can get like permanent Slack history as a result, which I think will be an improvement.
Free?
Yeah, for free.
But then you have to have so many pounds or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a well, I mean, I have to find out for like UK law. It says something like £5,000 in income, but I don't know if that's like you just need to have £5,000 in the bank, or you need to demonstrate that you're receiving as a charity £5,000 every year. So anyway, something to look at, but that shouldn't be a problem. So we've got the sometimes filling offline, all of those. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's. I think we've now got it in a good order for looking at with the client. Improve UI for showing email. Yeah, so we've got those two things are all there. Those three things, yes. Do I have an email come into info? So the only other thing then is there's this. We just saw it when we're looking at. Let's go into now that one. I shouldn't be able to log in because no, it's not yet authorized. It doesn't exist. That's good. Tansaku is like there's this thing that I'm seeing in the proposed organization edits where this one. Oh dear. Okay. We found another bug. So that's because I think probably that proposed edit was proposed by that
user didn't exist, right?
Yeah. So
that's a
let's just have a look at the
a bug where they have to to deal with that.
And then manage our production. Oh, it's the wrong way around. Right.
Probably blew up in a template.
Yeah. I mean, I can probably find it. I just thought it might be faster to go through the log, but this is internal server. Oh no, there we go. Undefined method.
Twitter2.html.
Here we
Undefined email.
Yeah. So proposal origin edits show. Boom, 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 boom. Proposed organizer edits show views. Yeah. So email. Email. Where's the point at which it shows the on line 3? Yeah, so here, so it goes to the editor. So yeah, and I guess it's because sometimes I get we have it? No, you have to be logged in order to propose an edit, don't you?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so I can just file a little bug report there. I wonder. See if we then recreate the user, if we will then it would be a new user and it wouldn't be reassociated with the edit. Like I've had it set,
because it would have a new ID and everything.
Yeah. I'll just put that in as it. So we've got a bug, which is deleting a user causes problem with edits. They have proposed. See in so this is proposed organization showed proposed patients slash just the bug is in there. Okay, I want to just see if the so I've got a new thing has come through. I guess I kind of want to test two things here. I want to accept the invitation and see the new user created, but then I also would like to re-instantiate that old user so that we can look at the bug related to the proposed edits, which is a different bug. I guess we could be maybe the simpler thing to do is to see if we can see the same bug on develop. That's not the right thing. Oh, we do the proposed edit view details. Yeah, it's this thing. We get like a little flash there. Okay, so I'm just gonna. So I sort of identified this, and Zivko, who's one of the makers graduates, started working on it, but said he couldn't replicate it locally. So that's it.
What flash?
Say again.
You said a flash you get?
It's like well, that's the other thing that Zivko did was he kind of like adjusted this to give these titles and change the colors of these different things. But there's like a little backslash.
Oh right, yeah.
There. Now that comparison screen, that's going to be the view for the. Is that just the show? That's this screen.
Huh. I think so, maybe.
Yeah. But so somewhere in here, we have an accept, edit. Yeah, there we go. So that's the button. That.
I mean, I've noticed that before. I'm quite not sure.
Yeah.
Why that shows up like that.
Yeah. Just trying to work out exactly where it is. I mean, that's the button, and that's the form.
And then it's inside a div, right?
Oh, there we go.
Huh.
So it's appearing there, in between
the address and the postcode.
Yeah.
So maybe look in the.
Ah, there we go. That's it there. It's interesting, yeah. And why it's
fat fingers, I guess.
Oh, we've got a. Oh, we've got an end. We've got an if statement there. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
I said it's probably fat fingers.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Oh yeah, I was just being distracted by the if end block and just working what was going on there. Yes. So I probably can just do git checkout develop there. I can do git. So now
I report it by the client or
no, I think I observed it in a client meeting recently, and yeah, the other thing I was trying to get back into the habit of is well, one is like naming the these things. I guess actually, rather than necessarily fixing this, I should maybe let Bifco do it. That's probably the way to do. Rather than going in there. But what I'm trying to do is get that thing. We got it working one time before where we had it so that you could put like finishes the pivotal ID in the Git request and it would close the different things. Found the problem. Check out. This is the bit here. There we go. It's okay. in. So I want to copy and paste it. It's proposed organizations edits. Use live. I don't know why you couldn't find that show.html. BRB. This is 1.54. 2.6. Okay. A pull request. Please title branch or prefix the branch name. Let's say prefix branch name. This pivotal ID. Oops, wrong thing. Anyway, I know you had a job interview yesterday. We'll see what goes on there. Okay. And add out somewhere. I've got this. You remember we did this before one time? You remember this stuff?
Yeah.
I
think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely got it working one time, and I was like, wow, that was a lot of effort for something where we can just click a button. But sort of, I've kind of, we've been using it regularly at Makers, although with waffle and a different sort of flow. But I've kind of started to feel like it's a good habit to get into. And what's this? It has to be at the end of the commit message.
So I guess it's not. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Cool. Okay. So I think I have now done. Yeah, I've done. I have a little list here of things that I need to do. So, well, I haven't actually. I've got the do it thing working locally. I've checked the issue for zero. Oh, icons. We've checked that Alexander's error fix is working. I'm tempted to recreate that, like, because we now have like a broken thing on like that edit, which is kind of like a dumb edit anyway. But like Heroku run Rails console minus our production, because we've deleted the user who had that edit. I guess the sensible thing, well, it'd be nice to run through just recreating that user. I guess if we got a primary key on the user's emails, we've now invited a new user. It would kind of be nice if you delete a user that you could then kind of like
recognize their email, yeah.
Yeah, or re-invite that one. You like bring that one into existence again rather than creating a new one. But so like if we now do user find by email info at agile ventures.org. So we have one user, which is this new one that we've created.
But it has a different ID, right?
Yeah, I assume so. And then the paranoid thing, I have to look up. Like paranoid, find, deleted, or whatever. Access paranoid. How do we? So and if we put with deleted in there, like so. No, it only seems to find one. Can I do user? I wonder. Oh, but I think okay.
It destroys it for real.
I think it actually in this case it destroys it for real. Now I remember the fix going in. So I think realistically what we have to do there is we have to take the proposed edits.
Does that say constraint imposed by?
I think that, yes, I think.
Bias.
Yeah, I think the re-invite thing and so on. I mean, at least that was the way that Alexander ended up
Well,
addressing it.
there's a constraint imposed by Devise which says that each email has to be unique, and it doesn't care about the scoping or whatever, I guess.
No, although I think the way that paranoid is supposed to work is it's supposed to, I don't know how. I mean, if Devise is using the user model to say user, check for this, but yeah, it depends how it imposes the constraint and whether paranoid intervenes with that appropriately. Can I get a list of all the deleted?
Well, in principle,
users?
I guess you could have like a deletion service and
Mm,
copy all that information over to another table so that you preserve those users.
Yeah. Interesting. But so I think, yeah, so I think sensibly what I do in this case to avoid confusing the client is I just delete that proposed organization edit. Because yeah, that's what's the ID? User ID 371.
Or just change the ID on the user.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that
shouldn't exist.
Yeah, so last user equals user finds by email info@agileVentures.org. And then no, that's silly. That's going to not save it. Will I won't have a reference to it to save it. We'll see. I don't know. No. Okay.
Well, what you need to do is find the organization ID.
Well, I was just going to do this. I should be able to. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, interesting.
There should be a way to climb from that to. Oh.
We don't have one of the directions set up.
We don't have that direction. We only have the org, which doesn't.
Okay, so now in principle, this one, yeah, that still works. Now that's interesting, but that slash has disappeared.
Yeah.
But I haven't deployed any change or fix to the server.
Huh.
Oh, I think I know. Okay, so that's the reason why it appears sometimes in others. It's like it only appears here like this. This is
if that field's editable,
right for that thing. So if proposal mention edits editable address, it depends if the address is editable by that editor.
Yeah.
Then it shows it or not. Interesting. Yes, and I guess now if I actually click through on the accept invitation, and so this user becomes, it says I'm already signed in. I have to log out there once. And I accept invitation again over here in a different screen. Now I have to set up a password. Yes, and so now I'm signed in as I've signed in as Agile Ventures as this guy, the info at Agile Ventures. I'll just log out again and then log in on another screen back into admin person. And then if I reload this page now, no, I was thinking it was going to re-show it up, but so yeah. Then well, my theory there not borne out, because I thought here, because the proposed organization editor, because it wasn't a valid user, it was not giving him permission to to edit that thing. And I thought that then through the process of logging in and logging out, I would find that changed. Oh well. Anyway, either way round, we know where the slash is coming from. So it does.
The editor. No, it's whether the editor was able to edit.
Oh. Well, but the editor in this case is the info at agileventures.org person, right?
If that's who it was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's conceivable that I might have done it on a different account. That would possibly explain it. Okay, okay. So we've cleared up that thing on the server. Um, yeah, the error fix is working. Um, the the other thing is the icon thing. So you saw what we had over here. So git checkout Yana do it API experiment. So she's ended up using a couple of different icons. We've looked at this before. I mean we get with Google Maps out of the box, we get these nice high res icons, these big red ones, but everything else we always do ends up looking much clunkier by comparison.
Right.
And I don't know this. Well, anyway, I mean, I think it's the kind of thing, at least with no, that's that one there. Like at least, well, these icons at least they look. I mean, they're a bit small. They look softer. They look a bit nicer. But I've got just an action item to sort of investigate icons for Rachel and what we can do. But I don't know. I have a feeling like that when we looked at this before, if one searches for Google Maps icons, we find that this is the standard set that's available online, and it's
Right.
it's pretty low resolution, and let's escape out of that. I guess these are higher resolution, aren't they? But yeah, what we want to do is get from somewhere like a consistent set of
And you also have to make sure you have the rights to use them.
yeah, absolutely. The thing that we have had is that Alex made all these sort of custom icons before, but they're really 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 low resolution, and I think they just look a bit ugly on the system. But what we just I would have thought with Google Maps that we could just with flicking a switch, one could switch from on here red to blue or what have you. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have thought that
Probably.
yeah, rather than necessarily having to give please use this icon, that there was just like a simple way of um, switching between different Google Map icons. I mean, we're not using Gmap for Rails anymore, are we?
Yeah, technically we are.
We are.
But it's possible to move away from that, I think.
Oh yeah, I just wondered if where I should be, because you've got this option to set icon, but
I mean, there's a little bit of JavaScript it's doing for us on the front end.
where in the system at the moment is we've got them.
So Gmap for Rails exists on the Ruby side
Uh-huh.
a lot, primarily.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me think about. I haven't looked at this in a while,
No,
but
sure.
map.settings, I think maybe try that.
When you this one.
Try info builder. Uh, I mean, if you load up the map right in the
Mm-hmm.
window,
Mm-hmm.
see if there's actually what the JavaScripts are like on the page. Do you know what I mean? Like view
Yeah.
like a developer
Yeah,
view.
I'm trying to get this to give me an inspect element option, but it's
And sources. There you go. So who's that from? I think that might be it actually.
and that with that
Or let's see, look at the headers or whatever. get markers.
I like it.
Icon. And if you go to the Gmap for Rails repository, you can see perhaps,
well,
or
that was
just go on the console and go open bundle open or whatever. Gmaps for Rails. Yeah, do that. Gmap for Rails. JS compilation or whatever. JavaScript. Create your map.
it's so like markers.
See, that Gmaps looks like a Google API.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, yeah, the Gmap for Rails is using a like he's got these scripts coming in.
Okay. I think perhaps he doesn't actually provide anything anymore. Now that I look at it, if you go up, because John actually set up the JavaScript side, go up. In JS compilation, is there anything? I guess that's like the extent of what he provides.
Yeah.
In his gem. Some kind of wrapper, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that he kind of made it a lot simpler.
Because he used to provide extent in version 1.5 or whatever, it would like controlled everything basically.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he's
so that's the JavaScript side, and we kind of built our library. He had like a little how to do it or whatever, and John and I worked on that. And then on the Ruby side, basically it creates the JSON. So you like build markers that map marker JSON.
Yeah, so we've got this thing here, and I think this is how Yana is setting. You know, we can pass in an icon.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if then
map marker JSON. If you go to the map marker JSON,
this one.
Yeah. So Gmap is line 6. That's the API on the Rails side.
Right.
From what I understand.
Yeah. Right. And so
and then I mean, even like the geocoding is just.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's a separate gem or whatever. Geocode. John and I had discussed it actually to move away from Gmap for Rails.
Yeah, sure.
To automate the JavaScript side with what is that called? I forget the name of it. The thing that everyone's doing now.
Is there something else that everyone's doing?
There's like a movement away from using the Rails asset pipeline, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and using Gulp.
Okay.
Because if you completely detach the front end from the Rails asset pipeline, you can use like all the tools and tutorials that they use in the JavaScript world.
Okay.
And all the latest and greatest toys.
Cool.
You don't have to wait.
Sounds interesting.
Pitch it in a Rails gem.
You're right. Interesting. I mean, related to that, I've been working with some sites with this thing called Middleman, which is kind of like basically just the asset pipe. Have you heard of Middleman?
No.
So it's like static websites. You can host it on like GH pages, like the Makers Academy websites. Like their whole thing is just it's Middleman, and it all runs on GH pages, so it's like much faster than Heroku, and doesn't cost anything. But it's interesting. Like basically, it ends up being it's using the asset pipeline. It's just it's like just the asset pipeline. So you have all your stuff in HAML or ERB, and then it compiles it into a static site and then deploys the static site. There's another plugin that deploys the static site for you. But what you were saying, there's something called Gulp.
Yeah, Gulp is a build system.
Okay.
Or Node.js.
Right.
I
And
mean,
so
in this view, you let Node.js basically do your front end for you.
okay, but so the Node.js then compiles your site statically to then like the front end, or
It
what is it?
compiles like the front end and does all kinds of stuff, and then in development it has tasks and stuff for you. Like for
Okay.
instance, you'd run like a lot of your JavaScript tests through Gulp.
Okay. But so Gulp is a framework. I guess yeah, I'm not completely understanding what Gulp.
It's
But
like
go on.
it's like Rake for the front end, I guess.
Okay.
Like roughly speaking.
But so if you were using it with a Rails backend, would it integrate with Rails, or you would just deploy a static site and then that would hit a Rails API?
Like people have worked on integrating it with the Rails app.
Uh-huh.
Like if you look on my if you look on my GitHub,
Uh-huh.
I have someone's. I was playing around with it like in November or so, or
Hmm.
uh, what is it? Gulp Rails pipeline,
Right, right.
which on this other guy's work,
Hmm.
and I was kind of getting it to work a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at that time it was kind of out of date, so I don't know. They might have been updated by now.
Mm.
But if you look at that, you can see like
Yeah, no,
I
I got.
go on.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can see there's some blog posts here that I can probably. Yeah, I'm starting to get a sense of it, but it's yeah, but so but right, but like that kind of integration would basically be that the compilation step would take place
In Node
right in Node, and
with
you would
Gulp, yeah.
but you would run that as a kind of like a gulp operation on your client on your development machine, and then you would check in the compiled files,
No,
or
no, no.
no, or no,
You can
no.
do it. You can get it to compile on Heroku.
Okay, so here, right, I
You
mean,
just
we've
have to
already,
use a custom build pack.
right, right, right. Interesting, interesting, cool. Um, but going back to the see it looks like there are how high resolution is this? Not that high resolution. I don't know. It's annoying. Half the Google stuff always seems to be like half out of date. Um, anyway, I think so. See what I would like here is then like is there a list of all of the different icons? Like what is the I should stop playing around with this. I'm just like a dog worrying on a bone now. But um, I just want to know what like this icon. What's the reference for this? And I want like it. I just want like a switch to flip to have a blue and a green and a whatever version of that. But maybe that's
It's
not.
that image. I mean, it's literally that image that's in the Ruby file, I think.
You think that image is in the when you say it's in the Ruby file? I would have thought that that image is being loaded from Google's server, wouldn't you?
I mean, it's not in the Rails app, but the URL for it, I think, is in the Ruby file.
You think?
Yeah,
You mean you think
because
in the Gmap for Rails gem?
no, like we provide it as an argument. If you go to the somewhere, go in there, go into not coffee. This is Ruby side. Um,
Well, we were looking a minute ago at the
yeah,
like when I mean, building this one. This is for we could build map markers here in the volunteer ops for the organizations controller.
but
Why
go
am
to
I?
the one for the organizations controller.
We've got build map markers here, partial shared custom marker. Is that?
And
Um,
then go to the shared custom marker and go to image tags.
image tag. That's a Rails
Oh yeah, that's a Rails. So go back. There's an adders to that. So what are the adders?
or Gmap for Rails
Go
marker
to
adder.
that's probably where it's embedded at. Go to that.
I don't know how
It's
can I?
on the org.
Oh, okay.
Say we just have this switch that basically says
Oh, okay. So what is it? This one. Okay, so that is that one. But so that would be the interesting thing, like,
I
are
think
there?
this. No,
Say again?
I said it doesn't. I don't know. Like we never figured out the logic to how they're
Yeah. I mean,
aiming.
this one, yeah, because this was their, because, right, so you kind of managed to find this. But it's so annoying that it just doesn't have an index. List all the things that are there. But, so have we got, like, Spotlight Poi. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, there we go. What's that? Text AP size, fonts, color. Oh, okay. Now that seems to be there though. That's that older. Oh no,
Yeah,
that looks not. If I compare that one and that one, ah, there you go. Oh, that's
a little
interesting.
different.
So we can have a color like I don't
And
know.
see if that argument works with the new one.
Okay, well it's actually, well, that's got like a VT icon. I mean, although we could be pointing to that one as well. But so is that even a color? What have I done there? I've done the color. It seems to have more colors than I'm used to it having. You're thinking like do this and then
Change it. Yeah. No, it ignores it.
yeah. But so the interesting one is whether, I mean, that would just as be equally used here. But if I go, that's the color of the text rather than it's the color of the text rather than the background seems to be fixed to be red. But anyway, that's
But they show a green.
who do?
His photo shows a green, so I don't know.
Which photo? This, oh, I mean here, yeah.
Go to his photo.
The icon
But
list
if you
markers.
change waypoint-b.ping to waypoint-a.ping, you get a green marker.
Oh, do you?
That's what he says in this.
Okay. That's okay. Well, that's helpful. If we remove the okay. Well, that's sort of what I was. Okay. Since ever. Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, I think that's potentially what have I done with the green one? There we go. I mean, that at least, allows us to do something that looks a bit nicer. Cool. All right. So I think I've now, I mean, the key thing there is I can give Yana this as a icon alternatives. Yeah, I'll just throw that in there before I lose it. Cool. Well, thanks for your help with that. Say Yana. Okay. Right. Now, and I don't know. Well, that was the other thing. It feels like there aren't the new things that I thought I wanted to deploy are kind of deployed-ish. I guess I should be checking the staging server. Because I think that because I just pushed out some minor things, but no, I've got nothing in the board. Basically, the things on the board, 3 things to accept. They're all, well, yeah, they're all visible in production already. I guess sensibly, I won't do any more pushes to production on the off chance of breaking it. So yeah, okay. Well, I think that's done the client meeting prep. I'm going to go make a cup of tea. We could do a bit of coding, or maybe is later on better for you?
We can do it now if you want.
Okay.
Gotta get something to drink.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll stop this. I'll start up a new hangout in a bit.
All right, bye.
Bye for now.